Hello. Hi, my name is Hannah Tallow, and my husband and I, Jeremy, are Diamonds and Young Living, and we live in the Fort Worth, Texas area. And I'm excited to chat with you a little bit today. So, a question that I get a lot, and I feel like is something that we've all struggled with, is what I do when I'm stuck, when I feel stuck in my business. So, when I'm been doing all of the same things and I have reached a certain period of time that I feel like I'm not seeing the same results or my team is not seeing the same results, what do I do? Where do you go? What do you do from there? So there are, differing opinions on what that looks like, and we've all had those seasons in our business. And if you haven't, just hang on, because you will. And I don't say that to discourage you, but to tell you that, being prepared and ready for those seasons is better than letting them catch you off guard and feeling like you're failing or you're doing something wrong. So it's part of it. We're in sales. We have ups and downs. We have seasons where it's going to be high and seasons where it's going to be low. And that's just part of the ebb and flows of our business. So it doesn't always come back to like something you did or didn't do right. But there are things that we can go and evaluate. And in times when our businesses are slow or when we're not seeing the results we want to see, whatever those look like, is a time to go back and evaluate. And it's a time to go back and evaluate the lack of progress and what that looks like for you and going back to what you're doing. So in our business, we've been blessed with a ton of business opportunities. There's a ton of tools. You can pay to use tools for this. You can have free training on this. You can listen to this webinar. There are so many things you can take advantage of for training and to help you grow your business. But those are all really good and really awesome. But if you get them in here and you keep them here, you max out what you are going to be able to do with them. So what has to happen is they have to be put into action and they have to be used. And I know that sounds silly, but I feel like it's easy for us to learn head knowledge and it's a lot harder for us to put them into action. So we've all heard the words income producing activities, and you've all heard those referred to in your business. And are you doing income producing activities and what income producing activities are? And I feel like that's one of the things that's easy to be like, oh yes, I've heard that and I know what those are. But if we really evaluated our time, what percentage of your work is spent doing income-producing activities? And there's no better time than when you feel stuck or you feel like you're not seeing progress to go back and evaluate your income-producing activities. Because, rank is awesome and your team growth is awesome. All of those things are good. Your paycheck is a good way to tell your growth and to tell what's happening with your team. And the income-producing activities are the things that have direct correlation to your paychecks. So if you have seen or heard of the book, Making the First Circle Work, that book is really awesome. It's a tiny little read that you can read very quickly. And basically what it talks about is you are the one responsible to grow your business. And I know in our business, we have the way our structure is set up is that if those under us are successful, we are successful. So me investing in my team members and helping them see rank and see growth in turn grows my business. So I don't discount that style of growth at all. But what Making the First Circle Work talks about is that you are the one responsible for your business growth. So if I am waiting on someone else to grow their business to then grow my business, then it's out of my control. If I'm growing my business and my head is down to the plow and I'm growing my business, which doesn't mean not serving your team, it just means you taking responsibility for your own business. Your people under you's business is going to grow because we copy what we see and we emulate what starts at the top gets emulated down. And sometimes it's unintentional and sometimes it's done without people noting that's what they're doing. But that's how it works. We see what we see done from the top, we start to do and we learn that way. So Making the First Circle Work is awesome because it talks about the fact that, that's your job. You're responsible for the growth in your team and you're responsible for making your own success in this business. And when you do that, your team does the same thing and it will in turn make their growth happen. So you're really doing them a favor. So anything that accomplishes these income producing activities is awesome for them. And everyone's going to look a little bit different. When I was at the point where my business was growing the most, when I was working to hit silver and gold and platinum, those ranks, I was teaching a ton of classes. And classes is what was equaling all of these, what was producing all of these income producing activities. They were all being accomplished in classes. So as my business grew, I started doing things a little differently, and I started working more with my builders and doing more business activities with them. I started problem solving with them. I started managing my team more. And what I realized subconsciously was happening is my income producing activities came to a screeching halt, and I started managing a team. And I have a team of almost 7,000. And so, there's a lot of managing, and a percentage of those are business builders. So that is what I ended up doing. And why nothing is wrong with managing and taking care of your people. Obviously, that's what I'm here for. And especially as a diamond, my job is to help my team and to problem solve with them. But it doesn't mean I have to stop those income producing activities. So what I saw happen was when I stopped and those came to a halt unintentionally, and I started managing, my team started doing the same. And I saw that in our growth, and I saw that in everything that everyone was doing. So I was really convicted that, until I'm comfortably a Royal Crown Diamond, and even at that point, maybe not, my job is these income producing activities, and these stay the same. So this shouldn't change if you are working to hit Senior Star or if you're almost to Royal Crown Diamond. These income producing activities should stay the same. And our percentages of time we spend doing them versus time we spend doing other things will fluctuate in seasons, and that's totally okay. But in my opinion, it shouldn't stop. And these are things we should never stop doing, because these are the things that build our business. And our team sees us doing these, and then they in turn do them, and therefore they're building their businesses. So, enrolling people is obviously the number one building block of our business. And when we stop enrolling people, we have capped out some of our growth. And saturation, take that word and throw it out. It's not a word. I live in the DFW area, and the DFW area, if any place could say it is saturated, the DFW area would be that place. And it's still not. Because I come in contact daily with people who have never heard of essential oils and who do not have them in their home. So until that is a household name, and even when it's a household name, there'll still be houses that don't have them but know of them. So until they are in every single home, we don't have saturation. So take that word out. It's an excuse. It's not really a valid reason. It's an excuse. So if we identify it for what it is, and then take it out of our language. And sometimes getting outside of your circle is required to enroll new people. Sometimes it takes getting outside of the people we know and the people that we come in contact with, so I've had my babies at home. I do all these weird things. I make my own kombucha. I do a ton of weird stuff. So all of my close circle of friends, we all do weird stuff because that's who I relate with on a regular basis. So if I was looking at those people for my market, then I would say my market is saturated because all of those people have oils in their home. But if I look outside of that circle, if I look at my kids' soccer team members, if I look at moms I encounter in Bible studies, if I look outside of the circles that I'm in, then that are my comfortable circles, then those are the circles that saturation is not happening in. But sometimes that takes getting outside of our comfort zone. So enrolling new people, we should never stop doing that. Now, the longer we build our business, sometimes it will slow down. And I'm not saying you need to be enrolling 10 and 15 people a month to be successful. I make it my goal to try to enroll 1 or 2 members a month and always be working on my list and my prospects and the people that I know need oils, and 1 or 2 people a month. So just don't stop doing it. Just don't let it come to a halt, because your team does the same. When you stop, people on your team stop. And again, not intentionally. It's just how it works. And then getting those people on ER is the next income producing activity, because that is residual income every month, those people that order every month. You've done the work of enrolling them and then getting them on ER, and then you make the income every month on those people. And they are already, that is committed, and they are in, we see very rarely people that drop off of ER. Because once you're on it and once you're using the products, you stay committed to it. So getting people on ER and then helping your team do those 2 things. Helping your team enroll people and helping your team get people on ER. And letting them duplicate it is also an income producing activity that you will see. Because if we just did, there's more, but if we just did those 2 things, our businesses would have explosive growth. And the teams that I see, when I see teams that are having huge growth and I look at what they're doing, that's what they're doing. They're enrolling people, their growth is huge, and they're getting people on ER. And those people are then teaching them to do those people. They're teaching those people to do the same thing, and they're doing it. So If we stop doing those two things, we have a huge problem with our income producing activities, and you're going to see it reflected in your paycheck when you stop doing those two things. And then your team's going to stop doing those two things. So again, we emulate what we see done. So doing those two things and then having your team. So that's 3. Enrolling people, getting people on ER, and then having your team do those two things and helping them do that. So along the path, a lot of those things are going to look really different for everyone. Getting people on ER is going to take education. It's going to take explaining to people the power of our product. It's going to helping them fall in love with it. So the path that you take to get there and the path I take to get there is going to look different. It needs to be you. It needs to be your personality. It needs to be your voice doing it. But everyone's is going to look different, but it needs to accomplish that goal. And your end goal is to help people fall in love with the product. When people fall in love with the product and when people understand the benefits of ER, they do it. And if we go into it with that mindset that if you love the product and if you understand ER, you're going to do it, then I guarantee you we will see more people doing it. But I find myself being gun shy about offering and asking anything of them. And I'm not asking them to do me a favor. I'm not asking them to get on ER because I need them to be on ER. I'm asking them to be on ER because they need to be on ER. And if we believe in our product and if we believe in what we're doing, then everyone needs it and everyone needs to be having it in their home. So doing those 3 things, equipping your team to do those, helping guide them in how to enroll, helping guide them in how to build their businesses, and helping them guide them on how to get their people on ER. We'll see huge growth in our businesses when we do those things. And the people on my team that I see doing those things and emulating them and doing them day in and day out and never giving up, their growth continues and it stays, and they have new rankers and they have new members and their ranks continue and they change. So doing those 2 things and then not letting yourself burn out from doing them and feeling like you don't see success. So if you have a month that you don't enroll a new member, it's okay. You haven't failed. You don't need to reevaluate your business plan. You just need the next month to do it again. You need to get back on your saddle and you need to do it again. Because if we get discouraged, and I tell my team so many times, the only way in this business to fail is to stop. Is to give up, to stop working. Because if you keep doing this and if you keep working, ultimately you will see success. And sometimes it might take you 5 or 10 years, and sometimes it might take you 10 months. Nothing's wrong with 5 or 10 years. If your business takes 5 or 10 years to build to Royal Crown Diamond in 10 years, you've had a 10-year plus retirement plan. And I don't know about you, but I'm totally okay with that. So don't give yourself expectations and don't give yourself ultimatums that this is what has to happen for your success. Just don't stop. Just don't stop doing those things, and encourage your team to not stop doing those things. Your calendar needs to reflect your goals. So if your goal is to, increase your paycheck, increase your rank, whatever, help your team rank up, whatever your goals are specifically in this season, if you have those goals, but then you have no steps, you're planning to fail. So you need to, if you're planning to fail if you don't put them down. So you need to plan for success. You need to put them down on your calendar. You need to come up with action steps. So if I'm going to enroll people, what am I going to do? I can't wait for people to come to me and say, hey, I know you do oils and I need to get the oils. That's awesome. It happens. We all have those types of enrollments. But if I was sitting around waiting for those types of enrollments to be my primary way to build my business, I would not be where I am today, and you won't be either. So it takes getting out of our comfort zone. It takes action steps to make those happen and going out and doing those. The same thing with ER. We can't just assume that someone's going to use their starter kit and then they're going to fall in love with the product and they're going to get on ER. It sometimes takes work. We have those people. I've enrolled people who they enrolled, and then eventually we saw them doing, I looked at my downline viewer and they were in ER. And I never pitched it to them, never convinced them. They just did their research. And God bless those people. We all have them. And that's awesome. But we can't assume and we can't base our success on that happening. So you educating your team on ER, you helping them understand the benefit of it, giving them tools to share it with their teams, whether that be graphics or videos or things like that, helping them find ways to explain it. If you do that, then they will emulate that down. And if it's expected and it's normal, then that sets the tone and the spirit for our team, and that is what is emulated down to them. So that's kind of a little bit of the iceberg of income producing activities, and I really feel like those are the basics, and we complicate it and we try to do all these fancy things, and nothing's wrong with those, and nothing's wrong with sending samples and doing a bunch of make and takes and doing different things. Nothing is wrong with those. But if you feel like you're stuck and you feel like your business isn't seeing the success, And I would encourage you to go back to those income producing activities. Go back to the things that directly reflect in your paycheck and in your team's growth. Make sure and evaluate how you are on doing those things. And then add in all the fun stuff. Add in all the fluff. But you guys, no matter how awesome your desk and your office space looks, no matter how awesome you do videos, no matter how awesome you make graphics, if those 2 things that we talked about and 3 things are not getting done, those other things are awesome and great, but they're not going to directly grow your business and directly grow your paycheck. And let's all be real. Like, it's awesome to see growth, and it's awesome to have a cute desk and perfectly organized. And believe me, I love it. I love doing that stuff. I love scrolling Facebook. I love catching up in my groups, responding to my messages, things like that. But if those are not being done in proportion to the income producing activities, you're not going to see the growth that you want. And then you're going to feel like you're doing something wrong. You're going to feel like you're failing. Or you're going to say, this business isn't for me. I tried it. It didn't work. But let's be honest and let's evaluate the percentage of the time we're doing both. And again, nothing's wrong with those. Scroll away on your Facebook. But set yourself a timer for 10 minutes. And at 10 minutes, turn your Facebook off and get back to the income producing activities. Responding to people about the kit, educating people on ER, the things that produce those. And again, those look different for all of you, and you're the judge of those being income producing activities. But let's just take a moment and be honest with yourself. Evaluate the tasks you're doing and decide if those are actually things that are growing your business, or if they're things that kind of make you feel better about your business, because they need to be balanced and in proportion. So thanks for joining me today. I would encourage you to evaluate your success differently. Look at your tasks, look at what you're doing and how that is going to benefit and grow your business. And I promise you'll see success. So have a wonderful day.